Welcome back to Computer Security and Privacy, and today we're going to be talking about a business impact analysis. Business impact analysis is going to be that first phase in the contingency planning process, and this is going to inform each of the other phases. So no matter which phase you're in, whether you're doing an incident response plan, a disaster recovery plan, or a business continuity plan, you're going to do a business impact analysis initially. That business impact analysis has itself 4 stages, and each of these stages are listed there on the slide. The first, of course, is to identify your threat attack identification and then your prioritization of those threats. For those of you that are pursuing a business degree, this is kind of like a SWOT analysis. You know, your strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats. The first part of that has to be to identify what threats do you have out there, what's the prioritization of those threats. Once you do that, you have to go in and look at your business unit, figure out how you do business, how those threats are going to interact. Look at what the possible attacks are. What is an attack success scenario? But really, that's sitting around a table and figuring out, if you were the bad guy or bad girl and you were trying to attack, how would you do that? How would you come in and launch an attack against the organization? If that attack was successful, what's the potential damage associated with it? So again, this should be a logical decomposition where you're starting with the threat, looking at the business unit, thus you're building kind of the situation that you're in, looking at the possible attack sectors and the damage that those could do, and then once you've got all of that done, building out a subordinate plan. And that is looking at your organization, how would you actually respond to that. So again, this short video has looked at business impact analysis. Let's now look at it in the greater context of how it informs an intrusion response plan, a disaster recovery plan, or a business continuity plan. So within that context, what you're going to find, as I said earlier, is that business impact analysis is going to feed each one of those. And you'll notice that these are listed in order. You don't have to do them, you always have to do the business impact analysis first. But after that, whether you're working on the incident response plan, disaster recovery plan, or business continuity plan, depends on your organization and what the needs of your organization are. In most cases, it's going to flow like this. In other words, if you're coming in and you're standing up a security program, you're going to build an incident response plan prior to building a disaster recovery plan, prior to building a business continuity plan. That's the normal case. And the reason why is the chances of an incident occurring are much higher than of a disaster. And the chances of a disaster occurring are much higher than you being forced to do business continuity. Now that's not always true, but in most cases it is true. And again, you have to look at the scenario that you're in, or the situation that you're in, not scenario, and figure out what's the prioritization of development for these. So this short video has looked at the business impact analysis. It's identified its role in contingency planning. It's also identified, and I've discussed, the 5 steps associated, or 5 stages associated in doing a business impact analysis. That threat, attack identification and prioritization, business unit analysis that kind of builds the situation for you, an attack success scenario development. That's where you're looking at what the bad guys and girls could possibly do, what's the potential damage against you, and then building some subordinate plans. What would you do within the organization to handle that damage and respond to that attack, given your business unit and the possible threats that are out there. Okay, that's all for now. When you come back, the next video is going to look at incident response planning and how it fits within the larger picture.